Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to take 10 lines essay on trauma. 10 lines essay on trauma. Before I start, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any suggestions or recommendations you can write them in the comments below. So let's start. Point number 1 is trauma. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event, like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. Point number 2. A person may experience trauma as a response to any event that find physically or emotionally threatening or harmful. A person may experience trauma as a response to any event that find physically or emotionally threatening or harmful. Point number 3. A traumatized person can feel a range of emotions, both immediately and after the event. And in the long term. A traumatized person can feel a range of emotions both immediately and after the event and in the long term. Point number 4. They may feel overwhelmed, helpless, shocked, or have difficulty processing their experiences. Trauma trauma can also cause physical symptoms. They may feel overwhelmed, helpless, shocked, or have difficulty processing their experiences. Trauma can also cause physical symptoms. Point number 5. Trauma can have long-term effects. Long-term effects on the person's well-being, Trauma can have long-term effects on the person's well-being. Point number 6. If symptoms persist and do not decrease in severity, it can indicate that the trauma has developed into a mental health disorder. A mental health disorder called post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, so if symptoms persist and do not decrease in severity, it can indicate that the trauma has developed into a mental disorder called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Point number 7. There are several types of trauma, including acute trauma, chronic trauma, and complex trauma. There are several types of trauma, including acute trauma, chronic trauma, and complex trauma. Point number 8. Emotional and psychological responses of trauma are denial, anger, fear, sadness, shame, confusion, anxiety, depression, guilt, hopelessness, irritability, and difficulty concentrating, Emotional and psychological responses of trauma are denial, anger, fear, sadness, shame, confusion, anxiety, depression, guilt, hopelessness, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Point number 9. Physical responses are headache, digestive symptoms, fatigue, racing heart, sweating, and feeling jumpy. Physical responses are headache, digestive symptoms, fatigue, racing heart, sweating, and feeling jumpy. Point number 10. Several treatment can help people with trauma, to cope with their symptoms and improve their quality of life. Several treatments can help people with trauma to cope with their symptoms and improve their quality of life. So this was today's essay on trauma. See you next time. Goodbye.